Welcome back to part 2 of this machinist tool pick, and keeping with the new format, we're going to try to just dive right in and blow right through this stuff kind of quickly. So a lot of these caliper cases are empty or have broken calipers in them. This is a Starrett. This is a Starrett 120. This is the older Starrett series, and this particular one looks like it's working perfectly fine, feels nice and smooth, and is, there we go. So this one's not returning to exactly 0 every time. There we go. So there's the issue with that one. See it? This is a Starrett 120A, so I believe this is the newer series. There's a note in here with this one. Could be used if we need to cut up a caliper for a special job. Works but needs work. Works but needs work. Oddly enough though, this one is repeating perfectly. Huh. So I wonder what the work is that this one needs. Maybe the jaws? Alright. Requires repair, 2010. Another set of 120s. Oh no! Wolf in sheep's clothing. We've got or sheep in wolf's clothing more correctly. This is a old Fowler set. Actually seems to be working pretty well. They don't belong in a Starrett case though, so eventually I will come into a Starrett pair of set of 120 Starrett calipers in good condition that I will want that case for. This is, I believe, one of the 2 Mitutoyo metric micrometers that, these 2 micrometers they said were practically brand new, that they had bought these for a special job, and that they barely used them. They paid big money for them, so that's why they, good, ready to be added to system on 2013. And then they just basically sat in here, so they're practically brand new, but they're metric. So as part of the deal, I had to pay good money for these 2 micrometers and the Mitutoyo chamfer gauge, which I've got sitting right here, and I can't remember if I just showed you guys this in the first video or not, but this is a Mitutoyo chamfer check type gauge. This one's called the chamfer check by Mitutoyo. It's a 0 to 90 degree. I don't know what it's set for, but anyways. So this is the other metric micrometer. Again, got the standard in there, which is nice. I wonder why the wrench is missing. Oh, there it is. The wrench fell out of its parking spot. Oh, all right. So again, 2 nice metric micrometers by Mitutoyo. This I was glad to see. This is a nice item right here. It is an SPI, but it is an SPI Groove Micrometer. So I just sold one of these in Mitutoyo and got decent money for it. I offered people the choice between either buying my Starrett or the Mitutoyo. The Mitutoyo was nice and clean in the case. My Starrett had some roughness where it had been engraved and somebody removed it. You know what, I'm rambling on again. I said I wouldn't. Okay, so this was in their pile because it's broken. This should not be this hard to turn. So something is going on with this. It's unscrewed completely now, and yet it's still apparently almost impossible to turn. So I don't know what I'm going to do with that. Probably going to be as is. And we got some downright antique cues here. This is the Boyce Manufacturing Company of Statsburg, New York. This is one of these old go no-go gauges. Okay. This probably works. This probably was just taken out of service because it's old as heck. Yeah, it's a little slow to return. It's interesting. That's a 0.5 drop indicator. You don't see those too often. Probably wouldn't take much to get that back into working order. Standard Gauge Company, Poughkeepsie, New York. Huh, that's interesting. Look at that. Brazed or TIG welded? It looks like they TIG welded the jaw on this. Out of calibration, do not use. Oh, that's an ingenious design on this. Let's see what's in here. Oh, some auxiliary jaws. Well, there you go. So take these jaws off. Put these on instead. Looks like you can flip these around for inside work too, maybe. I don't know, I'm just guessing. Now, I bet you that doesn't even belong in there. That looks like an anvil or something. Now we've got 12 more caliper cases. And believe it or not, all 12 of these caliper cases actually have something in them except for these two. This Mitutoyo one and this looks like a Mitutoyo one. Oh, actually, this is Brown and Sharp Duracal caliper. So, no name on this one. Well, that's actually a nice looking Fowler, out of service. So, is it out of service just because of a dead battery? Put that in the maybe pile. This case is beat. Well, this is what a Brown and Sharp Duracal is supposed to look like. Well, that doesn't belong in there. Hey, these actually turn on. These actually seem to work. So I wonder why these are out of service. Oh, I see. The depth rod. I wonder what's supposed to be on the end here to keep this depth rod in place. These actually seem to be working perfectly fine. They're beat to hell. I'll give them that. I'm assuming maybe there's only an on button. I'm assuming maybe they auto sleep. Let's see. That case is pretty beat. Ugh. Mitutoyo. Stare at 799s. Out of service. Oh boy, if they need anything more than a battery, they're going to be pretty much skunked. Another Mitutoyo case with, oh, these actually are Mitutoyos. These seem to be working perfectly fine. Another one of these. I like the big display. Let's see if we can get some life out of those. Oh, boy, that... Okay, so here's the little bar that goes on this one. And the screws are, well, there's one of the screws. So why would they have taken that off, huh? The crystal's broken. Now, other than the crystal being broken, these actually seem to be working. Fowlers. Oh. No, Stare at 120s in a Fowler box. Needs a new crystal. Maybe more. Another Fowler that doesn't turn on. This is a nice case. The way this case is made on this Fowler. That's interesting. These are working perfectly, but they've got a cracked crystal. Get a little bit of schmoo on them. And these say right on them, broken. Out of service. Fowler Premium. These just have a bad sound to them. Oh wow, yeah, these are something wild going on with these. Actually, you know what? Look at that. The needle stopped moving. What's happening is either the face is catching the underside of the needle from the backside, or the crystal is pushing on the needle. That's why that's... Hear it? That noise is rubbing, that's the plastic underside of the crystal rubbing the needle. Might be able to fix that just by resetting the needle. Of course, the question is, how the hell did that happen? Well, the battery that was in these was completely dead, and it's a CR2032, which I had a brand new one of those. And I put it in, and it seems to work perfectly. So I already ran it through its paces, and these are actually pretty good shape. I actually really like this large display. I'm kind of liking these. Maybe I'll keep these. I don't know. I mean, yeah, sure, they're not as good a quality as, say, like the, my Mitutoyos or my Tesses. But the big display is kind of cool. So it's interesting. This has a, oh, look at this. Fractional. Oh my. Look at 3 3/4 inches. Yep, 3.75, 1.5 thousandths. So that's interesting. Never seen a set that did all three. Fractional, decimal, and metric. Huh. Well, this had no battery in it, and when I put the new battery in this one, the display is all messed up. Now, the interesting thing about this is that this might actually just be a problem where coolant had gotten in there and it's causing a bad connection between the little fingers on the back side of the LCD display and the PC board. This might be a simple fix of taking it apart and cleaning it. So the first thing I did was I peeled off the label off the back, and that exposes the screws. Alright, plastic piece comes off there. Now the whole front, I think, will lift off now. Take the battery out. There we go. Yeah, it's wet on the inside here. There's still coolant or oil or something inside this. So now I'm going to take out these tiny screws that hold the PC board into the plastic case. This tiny row of gold-plated contacts on the board, right here, comes in contact with a special strip right here. That's the interface between the LCD display and the board. There's residue of something all over this board, and probably on that area right there. So I'm going to clean this all up and put it back together. And just like that, perfectly good functioning pair of calipers. So let that be a lesson to you. If your calipers are not coolant proof, do not get them soaked with coolant. These sterrets didn't have a battery in them. I put a battery in them and they work perfectly fine. They're repeating to 0 fine, and put my Mitutoyo 1-inch standard in. Dead on. That's nice. So I was just looking more closely at this pair of Fowler premium calipers that when you move it sounds like they're the needle is rubbing and keeps stopping. And check this out. I don't think the face is supposed to be able to be lifted up like that. I'm guessing a screw has fallen out from the backside. That's going to require a little more attention than I am willing to give this tonight.